Hi all, this is the Java series part 38. We are discussing about the OOPS concepts like a class, objects, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. Okay, in this session we will discuss about the fourth pillar, that is data hiding. First we have to see the specifiers. Okay, in this case we have used the private. This is one access specifier, and public, that is also one access specifier, and protected, that is the third one specifier. So private, public and protected. What are the differences between these specifiers? If we use the private access specifier, means you cannot use this variable outside of the class. This name variable is created inside this person class. Its specifier is private. That means if you try to access this name outside of this class, you will get an error. Okay, so we can achieve the data hiding. If you want to access this name inside this particular person class, that is possible. But if you try to access this name outside of this class, you will get an error. Okay, so this is called the data hiding. That is one of the pillars of OOPS concept. Okay, and public means if I create any variable as public, means we can access outside of the class and inside of the class. Okay, if we create any variables using protected access specifier, means we can access that variable inside the class as well as inside the derived class. So public means we can use those variables inside the class and outside of the class also. Okay, protected means inside the parent, the derived class only we can access. Okay, but if I create any variable using the private access specifier, means we can access that particular variable inside the class only. If I try to access outside of the class, we will get the error. Okay, this feature is called what? The data hiding. That is one of the pillars. Okay, inside this person, I have created two variables, name and ID. Name data type is string and ID data type is integer. Both are private. Okay, here I have used the private access specifier, and here also I have used the private access specifier. So these two variables are belongs to this person class. Okay, here I have used the public access specifier for this class. Okay, and inside this main.java file, I have created the object of the person. Okay, this is the separate class. Okay, so inside this class I have created the main and I have created the object for person class. Okay, this is here. Okay, and here I have created the object. My object is the object of person. A new keyword I have used, and this is the default constructor. And here I try to access the name which is belongs to the person. How can I access? Using the object of person only I can access. But this name is private. Okay, private means if I try to access this name outside of the class, means we will get the error. This field person.name is not visible. That's why we can call it as what? Data hiding property. Okay, that field is hidden. Okay, and here I try to print the same. So the same error. What is it? The field person.name is not visible. And ID. So this ID is also inside the person. Okay, using the object of this person, I can access the ID, but this ID is private. Okay, so if I try to access this ID using the object of person, I will get error only. That's why we got the error like this. The same ID cannot be resolved or is not a field. Okay, and here I just want to print that ID. So here also the same. ID cannot be resolved or is not a field. Okay, so we got these errors. Why? Because these two variables are the private. Okay, that's why we got these errors. Okay, so this type of feature is called the data hiding. If you create any variable as private means you cannot access outside of the class. So the data is hidden. Okay, now I want to solve this problem. Actually, I have to implement the data hiding in my project, but sometimes we have to use those hidden variables inside the another class. How to solve this problem? We have the solution. The get and set method. Okay, private variables can only be accessed within the same class. However, it is possible to access them if we provide public get and set methods. Okay, here I have created the name and ID variables with private access specifiers, but I can access these private variables. How? With the help of the public get and set method. Okay, with the help of this public get and set, we can access the private variables also. Okay, so how can I do? First, we have to create set method. Okay, so here public keyword, this is the access specifier and this is the return type, and set name. Okay, set and the variable. Okay, so this is the name convention. We have already discussed about naming convention. Okay, so set the variable name, the first letter only capital. Okay, and inside the round brackets we pass the argument. Argument data type is string. Okay, because I want to set the name for this variable only. So its data type is string. So we have to give the same data type here also. Okay, and here I have used this keyword. So this refers the current class object. So this dot name indicates what? The name which is present inside the person. So this name belongs to this person class. That's why I have used this keyword. This refers the current class object. Okay, this dot name is equal to this argument. Okay, so this dot name is equal to name. So if you want to give the values to the private members, means you can use this setter method, but you have to give the public access specifier here. Okay, and now I want to get the value from the private variable. What I will do? I have to use the getter method. Get and the variable name and return name. So if I want to give the value to the private variables, means I can use the setter method. If I want to get the value from the private variable, we have to use the getter method. Okay, we have to specify the public specifier for getter and setter methods. Got it? Likewise, here ID. This is also one variable. Its access specifier is private. Okay, so how can I give the values? With the help of the setter method. And how can I get the value from the ID? I have to use this getter method. Got it? Okay, now here I just comment this one. Here the error is gone. How? Here I have used the getter and setter method. That's why I didn't have any errors. I used the setter method and the getter method to give the values and to retrieve the values respectively. Here I didn't use the getter and setter methods. That's why we got these errors. In order to access the hidden data, means we have to use these setter and getter methods. The methods should be public access specifiers. Okay, that's very important. My object is the object of the person. Okay, if I want to access the name and ID, I have to create the object for this class first. Okay, and I'm not give directly the values to the variables because this variable is the private. So I have to use the setter method to give the values. Got it? So here we have the setter method, set name, and inside the round brackets I pass the value. What the control will do? The control jumps from this 7th line to this class, and here it search where the setter method. So here the method set name. Okay, and here we have the John. This is the argument value. That value will be carried by the control and that value will be stored inside this name variable. Okay, and here inside the name variable we have the name. That value will be stored inside this dot name. This dot name means the current class object dot name, that is this one. Now this name is initialized. Again the control jumps from the 12th line to the main class. Here the control comes and here we have my object dot get name. Okay, this is what the getter method. Now I want to get the name variable value. I don't use directly. Okay, I have to use the getter method to get the name variable value. So what happens? The control jumps from the 8th line to the person. Why? Because my object is the object of the person class only. That's why the control jumps from 9th line to the person class, and here get name. This is the getter method. With the help of this method only we can get the variable value name. So inside the name we have the value John. That value will be returned. Okay, the control again jumps from the 8th line to the main class and that value will be printed on our console. Likewise, the control comes here, my object dot set ID. So my object is the object of the person and set ID is the setter method and this is the argument value. So the control jumps from the 9th line to the person class and the control goes to here, setter method. So that value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be stored inside this ID and that value will be stored inside this dot ID. This dot ID refers the variable ID. This is belongs to the person class. Okay, that value will be stored inside this ID. And again the control jumps from the 20th line to the main class. Here system.out.println, here we have the getter method for ID. So what happens? This is the object of the person class. So the control jumps from the 10th line to the person class and here we have the getter method. Control comes here only. Okay, and return the ID value. So the control jumps from the 16th line to the main class and that value will be printed on our console. Okay, now let me execute this one. Here this is our output. Name is John and student ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So data hiding means we can hide the variables. That is, if you create any variables using private access specifier means we cannot access those variables outside of the class. So this is called the data hiding. Okay, if we try to access these private variables, we will get error only like this. Okay, so what I will do, if I want to use those private variables means I have to use the getter and setter methods. Through these getter and setter methods, I can initialize the variables and I can access the variables. But those methods should be used the public access specifiers. Okay, then only it's possible. I hope you all understand about the data hiding and how to access the private variables outside of the class using the getter and setter methods. We have completed this session. If you have any doubts, drop the message on the comment section. If this video is useful to you, like and share. For more videos, subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon, then only you will get the notification for my new updates. Have a nice day. Thank you.